Talkin' Sex Live is recorded in front of a live audience. This show is for mature listeners only. Hello, you're Talkin' Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I'm Diane.
And I am Chet, and we are just a couple who's had a whole lot of sex. We are not licensed sexual therapists in any way, and we want to share our knowledge with the world. We are a married couple, and we are happy. And it's a Saturday night. We're streaming live on Twitch, and we're also recording for podcast and also for YouTube. And we are joined by our awesome friend and producer, Wells. How you doing tonight, Wells?
I am well, Chet and Diane. I have not had that much sex. I am just a podcast producer, but I will try to share what I know as well with our audience.
Yeah, I went a little long on that whole explanation there. I was going to reiterate it multiple times just in case if anybody didn't know what our deal was.
You have had a lot of
We've
sex.
had a lot of sex, a whole lot of sex, and it is it's a little warm tonight. But speaking of the warmth, my good friend Richard Colby, Dick, is outside right now. He's still out on campus at UCLA doing his research. How are you doing tonight, Dick?
I'm doing good. I'm flattered that you thought of me when describing warmth.
Well, yeah, you're a warm friend to us, and we do enjoy you as a guest expert on the show here. And if for those who are just now tuning in for the first time, Richard is our gay health and relationship expert, and he is here to help us out with the whole part of the LGBTQ community. What are you pointing at there? Oh, yes. Are those two penises that you're holding up with your fingers there?
Well, they're the same. That's what's important.
Yes, they're two outies there touching each other. So how have you been? You're waiting for school to start at UCLA there?
Yeah, I am. I kind of miss the camaraderie of all the nice gentlemen that I've been living with in the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice night out. I thought I'd take a walk around, and caught myself here when needed to call in. So I hope you don't mind.
Nope. No.
Nice
Do you know what's going on with the mayor and Renee? Was it Luskin School of Public Affairs building, or you just chose? That's just where you happened to stop and set up your little
I had
chair
a light
there?
on. I wanted to make. I just kind of like a moth to the flame. I was just thought, well, maybe something interesting is going on in there, but it's locked.
And Wells, how have you been? We had a fun time in the last show where you incorrectly named a lot of sex toys.
Didn't I bat like 500?
You did. You batted right at 500. You technically won on a technicality, but we'll go ahead and give you that. How's everything going with you?
I'm well. Just trying to balance all of my 6 podcasts that I'm editing, and including a political one. People are more bullish about the Democrats now.
What do you mean about that?
About their chances in the midterms.
Oh, got it. Oh, yes. Yeah. We forget Wells is a very political guy. We don't know who's calling into the show, whatever, or who's listening to the show. So we try to remain neutral, but we like to think the majority of our base is more liberal, since it is a sexual talk show. I can't
assume the base that calls in is more liberal. I bet you there's a bunch of conservative people who listen.
Yes. They are like closeted, like open about their sexuality, but when they're around friends, they will go ahead and discuss only thing. They will shame it or talk the opposite.
Well, we have been pretty unapologetically pro-choice on this show. So I don't know if you can say we've stayed neutral.
That is correct. So yeah, but when it comes to
pro-LGBTQ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are Republicans who have who
Gay family members?
Yeah, gay family. I wouldn't say. We are very liberal on this show. I would say that. So we were definitely not a conservative talk show because we talk about sex a lot. So, but well, I guess that's a good segue into our topic for tonight. We're going to be talking about our sex news. What's going on in the news with sex news? So here's our graphic. Yay, sex news, and then it has the people having sex, and it spells out sex news for those who are listening to the podcast. But anyways, that is not the right one.
Oh, we went to sex toy.
Yeah, I went to the sex toy one. But anyways, so tonight's topic, we're going to talk about the monkeypox vaccine before we get to any callers there. So, Dick, you have some firsthand knowledge of this because you were actually given, was it an email about saying that you might be, you're eligible for the vaccine, or is that correct?
Oh yeah, no, I have the email up in front of me on my phone. It's from LA County, and monkeypox vaccine is available to persons who self-attest to being in the following high-risk groups, and there are two groups. One, gay or bisexual men and transgender people who had multiple or anonymous sex partners in the past 14 days. So if you have multiple anonymous sex partners outside of 14 days, you're good. You don't need the vaccine, apparently.
It seems weird. Why trans? I don't. I guess the whole debate on like who's I feel like if you're a trans person, you're not necessarily like gay or like you could be either gay or straight. Like it just seems odd to me to lump in. I mean, yeah, there's some reasoning that I am unaware of. I'm just more curious about the reasoning behind that. So.
Yeah, well, we're gonna. I think we'd venture into controversial territory, but there is probably a correlation between sexually transmitted diseases and starting in the gay community, even though they're not like it's not like you have to be gay in order to get the disease, but there's probably a reason why certain things seem to or like show up there first, and then that seems to be highest the population with the highest risk factor.
Yeah,
and right, because they also say you want to people who qualify under category 1, skin to skin or intimate contact, kissing, hugging with persons at large venues or events in the past 14 days. And I think that's probably a reference to the gay bar scene.
Yeah, well, I guess the 14 days is saying that there's been an outbreak in LA, and for some reason, I guess the gay bar scene and the trans bar scenes have more people there. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I guess let's chat a little bit about how the disease is spread. So skin to skin contact. Also, they found that a large amount of transmission comes from oral or anal, and so gay men typically have more anal sex than straight people. So but then what happens is at point of inoculation is like where you touch an infected area on another person who has monkeypox, then that's the point of inoculation. That will begin to have a rash, and then you can break out into a fever, and then you can have blisters all over your body, and it can be really painful. The death rate's not super high. It's not as severe as smallpox was. The smallpox was eradicated in the 80s, but there has been some cases that have come up. But so with the monkeypox, this is something that has come up. I think back in the 90s or the early 2000s. It is an African. It came from Africa, I think Nigeria, and it was in the jungle there. Just saying that makes me feel like I'm ignorant, but it really actually came from different animals there, and it's a disease that comes, it's transmitted from animals to humans, and there's a name for that, but I forgot. But anyways, so it did already come over here, and they had a vaccine. They found that modifying the smallpox vaccine can go ahead and help with a vaccine for the monkeypox vaccine. Wells, if I'm saying anything incorrect, please correct me because I'm just rambling right now. But
I think Wells is fact checking.
Yeah, he's fact checking
right
legal right now. It's like this guy's an idiot, but yeah.
So that is zoonotic transmission.
That's what it is called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so it did come over into the U.S. Back in the, I think, the early 2000s, and then they had it under control. It actually was came from prairie dogs. It's no joke. They was transmitted from prairie dogs to humans, and there was about, I think, 70 cases or so. And then that
what are they doing with their prairie dogs?
I don't know. Like I guess grabbing them.
Yeah.
I think that just touching an animal that's infected can get you make you have monkeypox. So, but this latest strain has been thought to come from Africa, or from Africa to Europe to the U.S. And so and it is seemed to spread predominantly among the homosexual and transgender community, and it's basically from anal and oral and touching skin contact. So also you can get it from different fabrics or clothing, bedding, sex toys that somebody else has used that hasn't been washed. These are all things that can transmit it. So it's curious as to why it hasn't jumped over, like it's not spread as predominantly among the heterosexual community.
If they're having less sex, I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So also it seems like people have kind of not thinking of it as a pandemic, like something like we just came out of COVID, and that can be spread very easily, but it's now been kind of lumped into like an STI, and it's also been more related to like the AIDS epidemic back in the early or mid 80s, early 90s, and just have kind of pinned it on like the homosexual community, which is completely unfair and not all right. But that's a huge lot of jabber from Chet here. But guys, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Part of the reason scientifically that it spreads more amongst the gay community is, well, we're getting kind of technical here and graphic, but through anal sex, a lot of times there's small tears or nicks in the anus, and that causes bacteria to get in. I'm sure, as with HIV, it will eventually spread to the straight community as well, in a greater way. And it's important, of course, that we don't label it as a gay disease, as we did with HIV, which was originally called GRID, gay-related infectious disease, because that's bigoted, and it also makes it so that people don't take it seriously.
Exactly. Like anybody can get it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get so worried about the notion of it being bigoted. Like, if, at the time, I don't know what we knew about what was called grids, right? And it wasn't it wasn't the greatest time in the world.
No.
No, not at all. But we seem to have gotten past that. I think the idea though is, right now there's a limited number of monkeypox vaccines, and so if they're going to go after people who should get vaccinated, they're going to go after the highest risk category first, regardless of the reason. And right now, at the moment, that seems to be the gay and apparently trans community.
Yeah, it's like trying to help out the ones who are affected the most, and hopefully that will kind of curb the spread. And I mean, it's if I had the same kind of logic, if I was dealing with this type of pandemic, I would probably go the same direction there. But which was on, I think, the last week tonight with John Oliver, he was bringing up that they actually had like 1 million of these vaccines back in the early 2000s that just went to waste because they expired instead of giving it to communities in Africa who actually who still are affected by monkeypox, and have been affected for a while now. And instead of just giving that away, they just let them expire, and they had to just toss them all, and it's really sad. But
and now what we're doing is we're rationing, because if you like, this email to me is there's a second category which you haven't even talked about yet, but it's saying, hey, you're one of those people.
Yeah,
come get your vaccine. Like, that's what the email is basically trying to tell me. And okay, but what I've learned is they are cutting the potency of the vaccine, I think, by a fifth. And instead of doing an intramuscular shot, they're doing an subdermal shot. So you get a smaller dose underneath your skin, and apparently it's an unpleasant day after the shot.
Is it like the COVID vaccine where you're just knocked out, or is it just arm sore?
I think some people can be knocked out, but I guess it gives you it gives you a bump, a welt, whatever they. I think there's a special name for it when you have a welt there, and apparently it itches like crazy, and it can give you a fever, and I think for some people it can knock you out for a day. It just depends. Everybody's always different.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the smallpox, that was injected into your muscle, and it actually gave you a dimple, like it gave you a scar where it would eat away the I don't know what the whole science behind it, but it would actually cause a huge divot into your muscle on your arm there. So did you ever get the smallpox vaccine, Dick? You're a little older than I am. I don't know if that was still around back then.
No, I just right on the cusp. So yeah, like, I have family members who have that because they're older than me, but I escaped.
Got it.
The other vaccine for monkeypox that they have, which they're not giving out because it's a live virus that can actually cause monkeypox, I think has the same side effect. Like, it can leave a scar.
Oh, weird. Do you think you're going to get the vaccine, or just like, I'm not at a high risk? Or you are going to get the vaccine? I
got invited to a party, like a birthday celebration at the gay bars, and I have trips I'm taking, and I just don't want to be like, because I guess the rate has doubled in Los Angeles.
You said the rate or rape?
Rate.
Oh, the rate. Okay. It's like, yikes. They're getting to a whole new category there, something we don't want to chat about. But the rate has doubled for monkeypox in LA. Well, it's a highly populated area.
The gay community specifically. So I want to just take certain precautions and get that. Like, friends of mine have gotten the vaccine. I want to get the vaccine too, and then I can kind of open up my behavior again. So, have you met anybody, or do you know anybody who has or has had monkeypox? Or no, I only know people who've gotten the vaccine. Got it. Or started. Like, it's 2 shots 4 weeks apart. It's amazing how these vaccines work. You get a shot of the thing that makes I don't know the science behind this, but why do we always have to get 2 shots? Yeah. So why are we always apart from that first one let your immune system know that it had to do something, but the second one said, now it's go time, immune system. Yeah. It's your helper T cells. They have to create the antibodies from the weakened virus strain, and for some reason they need another round of it to make sure that it is completely, because it's a weakened. So yeah, I do want to point out the second group that they say qualifies, because this is interesting. Persons of any gender or sexual orientation who engaged in commercial and or transactional sex in the past 14 days. For example, sex in exchange for money, shelter, food, and other goods or needs. So instead of just saying prostitution, they have to go through a huge description of what that is. Yeah, sex workers. Other people, like victims of I don't know, human trafficking would fall into that category.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's very vague. Wells, I don't want to leave you out of it. Have you seen it? Do you know anybody who's had monkeypox or the vaccine yet?
No. Well, not that I know of.
All right.
I might know people who have the vaccine.
At some point, you'll know me.
Yeah, there you go. When are you gonna go to that the clinic there or whatever
Well,
they?
I'm going to call him up
Mm-hmm.
and get this started. I want to get, if I can get the shot like right away, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that so I can recover and then I go on my trip.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Then I can come back and then do the second shot. So that would be
Mm-hmm.
kind of optimal. But I had to wait because, as you know, I was potentially going to serve on jury duty and I did not want to get the monkeypox vaccine
While you're on jury
Yeah,
duty,
that would
yeah,
that would
yeah,
while on jury
suck.
duty. Be like,
yeah.
I'm not feeling very well,
Mm-mm.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we might bring this up later. We have another subtopic to talk about with the monkey pox vaccine. But we may have a caller coming in? Wells, do we have anybody calling in right now?
Yeah, we have Autumn, and she's having an issue with orgasms.
All
Hmm.
right.
Hello, you're talking Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I'm Diane.
And I am Chet. Is this Autumn?
Hello?
It is. Hi.
Oh,
Hello. Hi.
Oh, hello.
hello. How are you doing tonight, Autumn?
Oh, I'm doing great now that I'm speaking with you guys.
Oh, wonderful,
Ooh,
wonderful.
very
Glad to have you.
confident.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So you're having a problem with orgasms, is that correct? Or you just have questions about orgasms?
Yeah, I am having a little problem as it pertains to orgasms that I'd love to, get your opinion on, and perhaps you
Hmm.
could help.
Yeah, we love orgasms and have a lot of tips on how to achieve them. So what's going on?
Well, I seem to be having this problem. I'll get going, things are progressing nicely, having a fantastic time, and then just as I'm about to get to the point where I know orgasm is imminent, my brain will sort of like switch to this place where I get this really inappropriate image. Like it'll
Mm-hmm.
be, like my parents or like my
Yeah.
cat watching me or like
Hmm.
the idea of sex with like a Republican or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
like boom, I go back to zero and I have to start over again. And
Ah.
it's this weird like compulsion and it happens over and over again. And
Mm-hmm.
it's disrupting my life.
Yeah, I totally understand. I have it too. If they, but I'm still able to come though.
Hmm.
Maybe it might be different for a man. Just random images pop in my head. Nothing like it's not sexual at all. It's not even inappropriate. It's just
Yeah.
like a dump truck. Like the that place when I was a kid that I went to go get candy and comic books. Like and it just like happens like right as I'm coming. But for a man, when you get to that spot there's it I've practiced edging and so like it's actually really difficult to like hold back the orgasm. There's a point of no return, and for me when I get that image in my head I'm past that point of no return. So it's just like I'm coming to like launch pad McQuack. I'm just like what the fuck. Like, where does that
Yeah.
coming
No.
from? Yeah, like it's just some random like image that has like nothing to do with anything like sexual. Like I was like, should I be concerned that I'm thinking about this? But no, like I totally understand. But I feel if a woman was to have this, it would with Diane, when a woman is completely orgasm is it's a process. For a man, it's just like it's less of a mission. It's a less of a
Grab and pull and
it's
you're
a grab
done.
and pull and done. But for a woman, you have to like set the stage.
Get in a mental state.
You have to commit, and you have to fully,
Turn yourself on first.
and follow through to the very very end and to the very last orgasm,
Wait,
or else it's not complete.
wait. Diane, are you saying that having sex or having an orgasm is like getting ready for work?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's a long process.
Yeah.
Seriously, you're like,
Yes.
you want to chat? Like, you two
Yeah.
have a lot of sex. Like, you chat, you
Mhm.
really want to have sex? Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Like, let me get out
Yeah.
list, my little run book of things I'm supposed to. Is that how it works for women?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for more.
Well, it depends on the woman, of course.
Oh yes.
But I mean,
for the majority, you really have to turn yourself on in the morning. And get in the mood.
It's an all-day process. Like you really, if you're a man and you're just like, you know what, I'm horny, like
grab and pull. And go.
Well, no, I'm saying like if you are like. I don't want to say, I hate using the word courting, but it's like if you're a consensual couple like that happens to be like, hey, you know what, let's have some sex tonight, and as a man that like you need to turn on your partner, it's an all day event. Like you really have to woo her throughout the whole day for her to get aroused and get in the mood. And
can't do the time, don't do the crime, baby.
Exactly. So
wow, I am learning.
Wow, that is quite a metaphor.
So
I think
maybe that's not the best metaphor.
I'm saying, honestly, I think you're missing the boat here.
Yeah,
because Autumn, you said you're having trouble, like you're getting to that point of orgasm, and then you're unable to have the orgasm.
Yeah, it's like the thought like pops into my head, and then they like sort of moment, and then I feel like I gotta start getting ready for work again. You know what I mean? And that's a long process.
Yeah, it can be.
That's happened to me before as well.
Autumn, though, is described, thinks of her parents, right? I think potentially you feel shame about the orgasm because I've always noticed this, like you never think of your parents having sex while driving. Right?
What?
Like you've never had that thought, because if you did, you'd freak out and crash the car, right?
I can imagine that, but sure.
Yeah. So I'm saying, I'm sorry, Autumn, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say at first, I thought like, is it a shame thing? Because I for sure grew up Catholic, and I understand that there's, a lot of shame there. But it'll be weird things, like all of a sudden I'm like in a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit, like surrounded by kids. It doesn't seem to be shame. It just seems to be like, what weird effed up thing can my brain think of?
Yeah, it's completely random.
It makes me want to like have any fun. And the more I try to stop it and like think sexy thoughts, it just gets even worse.
Well, maybe you can incorporate some kind of fantasy in with it. Like you could introduce maybe Henry Cavill into the ball pit and get freaky with that, or whoever, one of your celebrity crushes.
Yeah, I was saying, like I have the same thing every once in a while. It doesn't happen to me every time, but every once in a while it'll pop into my head. And Peter, who is another one of our guest experts, we've had this discussion in the past, and he's also had that. He also has this as well, but I can't imagine having that as a woman where it would pull you back so you couldn't actually achieve orgasm. So I'm trying to figure out from a standpoint where it happens that if I have experienced, and also like what I've experienced with Diane and how she can get pulled out of a moment at a split second. Is this more from masturbating, or is it from sex with a partner?
I find it's both. I find it with when I'm masturbating that I can take more time and try to like have it happen again. And with a partner, while I'm sure that they would be open to that process, it just seems to take so long that I don't want to, have them. First of all, I don't want to let them know what's going on in my head, because I don't want them to think I'm crazy. But, it seems a little bit more embarrassing with a partner to
and then you can't orgasm when the partner and you feel. I don't know
I know what this list of things that you think about are, though, the random things that pop up in your head, because you mentioned your parents and you mentioned a ball pit of children. So, like, what else is on this list?
Like, I'm also interested, but I want to point out that it has, like, I don't think it has anything to do with like self-conscious or like Freudian theory or anything.
I think it's just more OCD.
It's like completely random. Like because I get it too, and it's just like the shit that pops up in my head. I'm just like, that has nothing to do. It might be pulling from subconscious, but man, the brain is very strange, and we still haven't figured it out. So
I think part of it is trying not to think about other stuff, because I get this sometimes too.
Yeah.
Where just there's something in your brain that's like, what's a weird thing that I shouldn't think about while I'm having an orgasm? And then trying not to think something like that, you think something like that.
Yeah, like Autumn, if you're walking across a bridge, do you ever think, I wonder what it's like if I were to jump off this bridge?
Good God. That's super
took a dark turn, Dick.
Yeah. Sorry, Autumn, go ahead.
No, she said, yeah, right. Yeah. And you and I are saying, I have that thought too. Like, I don't want to jump off the bridge, but I'm on the bridge. So immediately my brain's like, what's that like?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be thinking like public and like driving, like riding the bus, and I'd be like, what if I just like pushed the bus driver out of the way and took this bus? Like, just weird stuff like that pops into my head all the time.
Yeah.
So
I just thought you were going to say like pull the cord to stop where you don't need to stop, but you would
I've done that. That didn't
taking over the bus and thinking that you are Sandra Bullock in Speed. But yeah. So I'm trying to I'm really racking my brain on how to help you out here, and I don't know. It seems like if you're with a partner, find something that will really put you over the edge to not make you think about this. Like if
you could also, go ahead.
Like if you were, like if penetrative sex doesn't all the time do it for you, but oral sex is always like a guarantee, then you know what, maybe you should switch up from like penetrative sex and like, you know what, I only want to come from oral. Like if you can go ahead and put your penis in, but make sure to pull it out and then give me oral, and then I'll come, and then you go ahead and penetrate and you come. And so like Diane and I today, actually, we were a little tired from our festivities over the week, and so we took a little nap, but then we were cuddling, and since our festivities were so involved, we actually didn't have sex for the last 2 to 3 days. 3 days? 2 days?
4 days.
4 days? 4 days. Wow, it's been 4 days since we had sex. And so since we have sex so much, I typically cannot make her orgasm just from oral. Sex is like a drug, you build up a tolerance to it, and then it takes more and more to actually make you have that high. And so, or for the high in this case is an orgasm. So but since we haven't had it for a while, I was able to get her done first time in a long time, actually, just by oral.
Yeah, you're losing your touch, babe.
I blame the fact that we have too much. Oh, I wouldn't say too much, but
I say it's too much.
It's too much, yeah. But we have sex so often that she can't orgasm just from me. From cunnilingus. So, but I was able to do it today, mainly just because what happens is I'm going in the same motion, and like for a female, like that motion right there feels great. You need to keep on doing that. But then as I keep doing that motion,
I've been with women that were fine with doing that motion.
Yes, but I get a cramp like right here, like, and I can't, like, it's like my jaw like will lock up, and like I can't lick anymore, and then it'll just stop, and like I was like it's very, very painful, and like but anyway, so going back to your question there, Autumn, I would try and find something that's like a guarantee, like 100%. Or
I was going to also say you can find some grounding techniques to help you be in the moment. You can focus on your breathing. You can focus on what are the 5 things you can hear around you.
Explain that one.
Like, what noises can you hear around you? What are 5 things you can hear around you? Or what are 5 things you can feel? What does the skin feel like? What does the bed sheet feels like beneath me? What does the pillowcase feel like? Things to ground you and get you in the moment and be in that moment. And should help you.
There's also breathing techniques. So it's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. It's where you inhale for 4 beats, and then you hold your breath for 7 beats, and then you exhale for 8 beats. And I've never tried this with sex. I typically try to do this when I'm trying to fall asleep, or just if I'm super stressed out, it will calm you down and ground you. But if this is something that, if you need to clear your mind, it will definitely
relax your nervous system.
What it does, you focus on your breath, and it's meditation is all about focusing on your breath and clearing your mind. So, but having that structure in there, the 4-7-8, it clears your mind out of everything else that you can't that distracts you from what you're doing, and then after that you can clear your mind, focus on what you are actually feeling, and then do what Diane was saying there, and then boom, maybe yeah, it's all about playing around with stuff. So
boom with something.
Boom with something. So do you have a regular partner? Or are you sleeping with multiple partners, or?
Yeah, nobody regular right now. So it's just been some repeat customers, but for the most part, it tends to be just new partners.
Yeah, and it can be difficult with if you have new partners, because it's can be a little bit more uneasy to chat about the things that you like. It's mainly in the back of your head. You're trying to think like, what can I do to make sure this person's like likes me? Basically, it's just like, well, I got to do this thing to make them like me, and so. I don't know. I would try to focus on somebody that you enjoy or having sex with, whether or not is something like super attracted to, or who you feel is somebody that is really good at having sex, who's really pleasing you. You may have multiple partners, but then the one person that kind of does it for you, stick with that person, and then really trying to hone in those techniques and actually. Maybe that will orgasm. I am curious though. I mean, are you able? How often do you actual orgasm, or does this happen every time, or is it something that happens just every once in a while?
It happens the majority of the time, and I'm usually able to do it eventually, just by sheer will. But the problem is like that first orgasm is usually one of the most intense ones, and so for me, when I can't have that first one and have to keep building up over and over again, it's not as intense an orgasm. I don't know if that's different for guys. I know you were talking about edging, but I don't have that same experience of it being more intense.
Yeah, well, everyone's different. So, I mean, like, you can't just put a label or just say, like, this is how it is. It's like some people feel that edging for women and men can be more exhilarating. Edging's more about having a lot of small orgasms instead of just one huge orgasm. So it goes toward into like Taoist philosophy that sexual energy should be maintained, and it will fuel you through your day. Like to actually orgasm will release that sexual energy so that you can't experience that through your life. So some people will edge and then they will never actually orgasm. They will just almost get to the point of orgasm and pull it back, and then they will just go out through they'll end their sexual session like that. And if that's something that you want to give it a shot, go for it. If you have a partner that can withstand that and go the distance with you, you're getting really into some tantric sex then, and prolonging your sexual sessions and whatnot. But it's all about communication and whatnot. But if you feel that, like, you know what, I really like that huge orgasm, it does release a ton of endorphins. It is a big stress reliever. It can make you makes all your muscles relax. It is a good feeling, and so you don't have to. Oh, I have to edge because that's what the Taoists believe. But you're like, if you're not Taoist, who cares? Like, like,
do what makes you happy.
Exactly. If you feel that you want that big orgasm and then you want to fall asleep, and that's what I do. That's sleep. Like I suffer from insomnia sometimes, and I love to have a huge orgasm, and then it makes me fall asleep, and I sleep great. But
not all the time if you're stressed though.
Yeah, it does. I wake up at like 3 a.m, but and then Diane will get on top of me again every once in a while. Every once in a while, but
you'll like talk in your sleep.
Yeah, I saw. Apparently, I've seduced Diane while I'm sleeping, and then she jumps on top of me, and then we have sex. So, yeah. But anyways, it is all 100% up to you what you want to do with this, and I strongly encourage you to go ahead and just be communicative. That's not a word.
That is a word.
Communicative to your partner that you feel that you have the strongest sexual connection to, and try different things. And if you have that big orgasm, then you can achieve it. It really is all of our sexual connections. It's a quest, and it's not about the end, but it's about the journey. And if you have fun on that journey, then that is, you're succeeding there. So,
yeah. Well, that grounding thing sounds like a good idea. I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah, but I do want to let you know that this isn't weird. You're not different. This is normal. Like, it does happen. I haven't heard this with females, but it does happen with males. And just because this isn't something that people talk about, there should be a term for it. Wells, you seem like you've been typing away on the old computer there. Have you found anything that's that what this condition is called? I have no idea if there's anything like medical term for this at all. No? Nothing? No, he's still looking right now. Yeah. Never mind. But it feels like there should be some type of condition or something. There should be some type of term for this. And if not, we should just make one up right now.
I think it also has to do with anxiety, where just random thoughts pop into your head.
It's not anxiety, though.
Prior to the orgasm.
That was a question for Autumn. What do you think about prior to the orgasm? What's going through your head before you actually come?
Well, before it used to be nothing, but now that this has sort of become a pattern, really, it's one of those things where my brain is having this thing of like, oh, please don't think about that. Like, please don't. So I try to think about other things, like things that do turn me on, sexual, and I feel like I'm doing good, and at the last minute it's like bam, I just think about the fact that when I was selling Girl Scout cookies as a little kid, I came in second place. Like, stuff like that happens.
I mean,
crazy.
That kind of does sound a little bit like anxiety. Like, you're so concerned about not having this happen that it's starting to affect you.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. So I get this weird this anxiety where I fear that I'm not going to get enough sleep, and so that thought goes through my head that I'm not going to get enough sleep, so I can't sleep. It's just like the stupidest thing ever. But it's kind of the same for you. It sounds like for you, for when I have these thoughts that pop in my head, like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like, oh, this feels so good. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm about to come, and then Edgar Martinez from the Seattle Mariners in 1996 pops in my head. I'm like, what the fuck? Where does that come from? Like, how is that even relevant? No, I mean, it depends on who you are, but I don't find him attractive. But so
no.
No.
Thanks, Wells.
Yeah.
I mean, if you said Griffey or Rodriguez,
yeah, well,
maybe.
Everybody loves A-Rod. But yeah, I mean, Edgar. I don't know, but anyways, so I mean, if you want to see a actual professional, a counselor, and just kind of dive deeper into the psyche of something that you mentioned, a lot of things that happened in your childhood. For me, it's just like completely random things, just like that has nothing to do with anything. I don't know if that's your what's popping into your head, but you mentioned a few things that happened during your childhood with like ball pit, Girl Scout cookies. I mean, if you want to go down actually explore that. I'm sure there's some medical professionals, some therapists that can go ahead and give you some insight on that. But I would go ahead and view those other things that we mentioned there to really help you out with your orgasms there.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. This was a longer call, but you know what? We felt this was a very topic that we really wanted to help you out with, and we really appreciate you taking the time with us, Autumn. And I hope you have a good night and stay safe, consensual there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No, thank you. Have a good night. Thanks.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, wow. Have you guys, Wells, have you had that at all? It seems like you kind of, yours was more about having, it seemed like you were trying to focus on not ejaculating. So you think of something other thing, like I'll think about like baseball or statistics if I try
do
not
that too.
Yeah.
But it's also like when I'm about to reach orgasm and my brain is like, wouldn't it be weird if you thought about this? And then I think about that. Yeah. Or wouldn't it be weird if you thought about this person instead? And yeah, I think about that. It's not even like I'm thinking about somebody else other than the person I'm having sex with. It's just like, you remember Baja Blast when it came out and talk about? It's like, what?
Like you're it feels like your mind's trying to fuck with you. Like you have some self-loathing issues there. Like you're just like, hey asshole, here's a Butterfinger. Like you think about that. Like, I don't know. No? All right. Dick, what about you? Does this pop up into your head whenever you're about to orgasm?
No, this phenomenon does not happen to me. I have a very good focused mind on either. I might think about other people, and if I'm in an encounter with a guy, that'll happen. Sometimes I'm trying to juice myself up, but if I'm masturbating, I have some go-to thoughts in my head that I play through all the way to the end. But now I'm more concerned about me after having had this conversation because I think I'm going to have the same phenomenon that, like, when I saw those ads for restless leg syndrome, where I've never even heard of this thing. Like, I'm afraid I'm about to jerk off tonight and at the very last minute think of Autumn selling Girl Scout cookies. Like, this is nothing. This was never a concern of mine. And now I'm like, this is about to happen to me.
Diane, has this ever popped into your head?
Random people.
Oh, random people, yeah. Like you think of Caval or Margot Robbie, but never like any random like objects or just events that have happened.
Maybe some sales that are going on.
Like at Macy's?
Yeah, it's like I need to buy this before it expires.
And then but like I feel like that's something that would hold you back from orgasming, but not, does it, like for me, like I guess it's like I was saying with Autumn, like it's different for a woman, but for me it's something that pops in my head and then I still orgasm. Like it's just like I'm at that point of no return, and then this random thought pops into my head, like that Oompa Loompa that says, what do you get when you guzzle down sweets? And then all of a sudden I ejaculate. It's just like that
one kind of makes sense for some reason in my head.
I know, right? Me too.
What do you get when you guzzle down sweets? So like I mean, well, the point of no return is like a real possibility for men, but I feel for women, like it just
is there
like
a point of no return? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't have a penis, so I can't really compare.
I feel like there's been some spots where like you started to orgasm, something's happened, and then you get pissed, like you're just like I was starting.
I think you moved a certain direction,
and then you did this thing, and like it, like for a woman, like I was saying earlier, like you have to follow through to the very last orgasm, or else it's not complete, and it's yeah. So it's completely different. Like a man, you just can't stop it. You're just like jerk, 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 and there's come all over.
Although you can have a smaller orgasm if something happens in the middle, that kind of interrupts it. But you can't stop the flow of the sperm coming out.
Exactly.
Once it's coming. Yeah.
So
you can have a second orgasm, but are the sum of the parts equal to the whole?
Mm-hmm. I've done that where like you try to edge and then you come and then but it's not a full on explosion orgasm, and then you're able to like your penis will go down a little bit and it'll lose
momentum there.
Yeah, but then thoughts and what's happening, it gets right back up and you're like, let's go at it again. And then but I do feel that the second time when you have that full orgasm, it's not as intense. Like it's like 75%, like the first one that you had was 25%. Like I feel like there's a whole like summation of parts, so, like you only have 100% of energy. And then the 25% happens in the beginning, and then you're only going to hit 75% next time. I don't know. I'm thinking more mathematician stuff. But, yeah, so...
Probably not the right thing to do in the bedroom.
No.
Mathematics.
No, well, that's what helps me not come. So there you go. Thinking about theorems and postulating whatnots.
Put a bunch of drawings on the wall and paper clippings for like a beautiful mind.
Exactly. Start drawing on the bed frame, different formulas and whatnot. So there was one topic we wanted to talk about. We might have another caller coming in, but we'll keep the old boards open for anybody else calling in. But we wanted to get back to the monkeypox thing. There was another story that was related to this. Dick, do you want to talk about that? Or is it Wells?
I thought,
Wells, do you have it up? Well, do you have it up?
Yeah, so there was a 36-year-old man in Italy who went to Spain and had unprotected sex with multiple men, and then came back and was diagnosed with COVID, monkeypox, and HIV. And it's something that scientists are actually concerned about, is this combination happening all at the same time, because, of course, HIV transmitted through unprotected sex, monkeypox transmitted towards rubbing up against somebody, and COVID generally transmitted through someone's breath, like droplets in their respiratory system. So all three can easily happen at the same time.
Yeah, the trifecta of infections there. So I feel like this is something that's like super rare, but it is a concern. Like I feel like the HIV is the most important thing, like that we should be concerned about. Like, when you first contract HIV, you're not like your immune system's not super compromised. It's still like intact. I don't know. Maybe I'm no immunologist or whatever it's called. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know if the man survived, or I'm assuming so. That would be pretty grim if
he's still alive.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like first they would go ahead and combat the COVID. The COVID strains have been weakened somewhat since the original strain, and then the monkeypox. And I mean, it's going to be a rough. This guy's going to have a rough life, but the first 2 to 3 months is going to be pretty rough for him, and then he's going to have to take the HIV medication that will suppress it, and then he'll be able to live a normal life. But I mean, it's not like I feel like we're just like he's got Ebola, he has explosive diarrhea, but. No.
I know you're just riffing there.
I am riffing, and it was a bad riff. It was a really bad riff.
Explosive diarrhea. I don't know.
I'm trying to
list of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, what's worse than Ebola? I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. I couldn't. No. I couldn't. I was
pulling your eyes. But yeah, I mean, look, all three of these diseases are generally, at this point, because of modern science, are not fatal. Like people are generally not dying of monkeypox, and people are generally not dying of COVID-19. And because of the new cocktails and medications, also not dying of HIV, living full lives. However, this guy had a very bad day.
Yeah,
like a super bad day. And it does give you pause when you think like he probably, it was just one, well, maybe you said he had multiple sex partners. So, but in theory, you could get it all at once because they're all different diseases from transmission. And it's like, woo, like, I don't know. It gives you pause. It just gives you pause to think that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a serious one. Well, we want everybody to have very safe sex out there. Use protection when you can. So, I guess with the monkeypox, like it seems like even if you have a condom on, it depends on if the person has some type of infection. I really have no. I mean, it's transmitted for anal and also for oral. But then if you touch some type of lesions, you still can get it. Or if it's on the bedding, you can still get it.
That's quite the...
Yeah, it's just like the recommendation from like different county, like LA County or the CDC is like, stop having sex. You're like, well, I mean, that's not exactly gonna work. You can't just tell people to stop having sex, but you just gotta be smart about it. I mean, if you have a fever, if you have a rash, don't go ahead and engage in any type of sexual conduct, or just don't go out. Stay home. Somebody just popped in. It says, Kyle, since we're talking about sex, what are each of your favorite holes on your partner? I like my mouth. I don't know, but I should have read that before I just
blurted it out. On your partner.
Yeah, no, vaginas. Those are great. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about, thank you very much, Kyle in the CV. Thanks for that comment. But what I was discussing is that we should just be conscious about if your partners or your partner is infected, and it's like you just got to look out for the warning signs, whether or not they are they have any type of lesions or bumps or whatever. So I don't know, what are your views there, Dick?
On what specifically?
It's like, what are your recommendations on how to avoid monkeypox?
You want my recommendation? Get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And possibly take a break up until the point that your vaccine is done. Like, look,
got it.
I've said that. I've told you this in the past that, like getting crabs, right, which is an STD. What was the message of that? It's that you're living a really good life. And right, and but we can cure these things and whatnot, and it's kind of like it's like nature's cooling off period in a certain sense, right? You get the disease and you're like, okay, I'll just take a break. Like my penis has been in overdrive. Need to let it rest a little bit. It's just kind of balancing the universe, and I think that if you take that mindset of, hey, I'm at risk for these diseases because I'm a pretty popular person, right?
Popular, I got it.
Yeah, I think it's okay for you to just like, let's take a step back for a couple of weeks or a month, or get my vaccines, and right, especially with COVID and monkeypox, which are so transmissible. HIV has PrEP and treatments that if you want to be active, or you can use a condom to protect yourself from that. So while I say take it very seriously, there are different types of measures you can take and still live a life. But like monkeypox, like, just chill, get the vaccine, chill for a little bit. It's temporary, and then get back in there and start winning awards.
Got it. All right. Well, you heard it from Dick tonight. get your vaccine for monkeypox and then get back in it and start winning awards. So we're going to end the show there tonight. Thank you so much to Wells and to Richard Colby. Please stay safe, sane, and consensual. And please stay sex positive, everybody. Have a good night.